Today I'm sharing my thoughts on inner work, healing, and self-love. Tune in, men of high value. My name is Joseph Darling. Let's talk about it. There's a lot of buzzwords going around on social media these days using these terms like inner work, deep work, healing, and so forth. For me, okay, and this is no offense for the people who uses these words, but for me, it's very confusing. I don't know about you, but let's just go through what those terms actually mean. What is inner work? Well, okay, so you look to the inside to clean yourself or heal yourself of something that might have happened in your past because of what? What is it that causes a person to feel that they need to be healing or go through some inner work or deep work in order to solve an equation of some sort? Very often, the reason why they're doing that, or they're trying to, or they're using these terms, or are following people who are using these terms, very often is simply because they're unable to control or channel their emotions, their thoughts, and their behaviors. Meaning that there are things in their lives that they're stuck on, or that addictions that they might have, or they simply don't. They've had a lot of bad experiences in their lives growing up that causes them to try to find solutions, and what people very often tell them is that they should look within because all the answers are there. And so they begin to meditate, they begin to do breath work, they begin to try and be present and to enjoy the now, which is, maybe from the book Power of Now, which is a great book, but to be honest with you, I haven't even read it. And I'm going to go more deeply into my thoughts on these specific things. But there's also other terms, like, for example, divine masculine or divine feminine. And I'm like, I just don't resonate. I just don't relate. So, what are my thoughts about what to do if you are or have heard some of those terms and you feel that maybe it does resonate with you, but you're still confused about the subject, the topic? How do I do inner work? How do I heal myself from my bad experience in the past? How do I stop doing things that I don't want to be doing and get over addiction? And how do I simply become happy? Like, I just want to enjoy my life, and I can't because of all of these hang-ups and all of the stuff, the baggage that I've brought with me from my past, whether from my parents or from my ex-girlfriend who dumped me, or from whatever that has happened to you. I'm going to give you extreme practicality here. This is what I do. I help single men to achieve financial freedom within 12 to 18 months through extreme practicality. And the reason why I'm mentioning all of these things is because it's just not practical. When you tell me those things, I'm like, how are you healing yourself? Like, what do you actually do? Do you breathe? Do you think all day? Like, what is it? I don't know. Okay, maybe you can tell me down below and make it practical, okay? Because other answers are not acceptable. What I'll tell you instead. The key is to understand that we want results. Right? The end result in mind is that you want to have joy, bliss, and happiness, and lots of it, right? And what does that really entail? It means that you're getting results that people are saying wow to. People are looking up to you. You're getting power. You're getting status. You feel important because other people make you feel important because you make them feel important. Okay? Now, so this is key. Inner work and healing and self-love and self-care is extremely focused on yourself, on you. That's not the solution. The more you focus on yourself, the more depressed you get. So the word self-love and self-care and all that stuff just doesn't make sense from a practical standpoint because it don't work, basically. If you want to solve the equation of you being depressed, of you struggling with stuff, You need to simply begin to work on outer work. It's the opposite of inner work. You need to do the work out there. You have an environment, and your environment right now, if you're one of those guys who are in this kind of healing need situation, your environment very often is lonely. And the people that are around you are very often not the best type of people. Normally, when I speak to guys like this who use these words, they very often mention that a lot of the people that are in their lives are toxic or are difficult, or I just don't like my friends, and maybe I have a few friends, but most of the time I'm just lonely and by myself and at home, right? Your environment then becomes just your brain and the things that you seek out on social media, which is very often also depressing and negative, right? And so you speak a lot about the healing issues and that stuff. Okay, instead of that, how about we try to figure out work that you can do, outer work that is focused on helping other people? Because now you're suddenly you're providing value and increasing the value of others, which now in turn automatically will increase the value of you. The secret always is going to be work. That's what masculinity is. It's us understanding that it's not about you until you make it about others. Once you make it about others, then it becomes about you eventually. But not until then. And so self-love and self-care don't work. Healing and inner work basically is outer work. This is how your brain will actually heal properly, because you won't be thinking about the past. You won't be thinking about crap that has happened to you, because you focus now on your future, which is always a better thing to be thinking about. And that is going to bring you into the present of what needs to happen in order for you to create that future. Healing in many ways turns you towards the past. Is there a time for that when you need to kind of vent it or get it out or basically try to understand what happened? Yes, okay? So there's two things that I want you to apply for you to move forward and actually create an exponentially amazing life for yourself, okay? Two things. And you can't do it without the other. At least I don't recommend it, and if you do, you try, it might not work, and then you're back to square one, or square minus 14, okay? The number one thing is the 80-hour work week. The 80-hour work week. Now, most of the people who talk about healing and trauma work and all that stuff, they're going to shut off the video immediately because they're like, oh, well, no, that's just too much, okay? Do you know what that tells me? It basically tells me that they're just too ingrained in their feminine, okay? And they are all about emotions and feeling and finding themselves. You're not going to find yourself unless you actually do what needs to get done to actually improve the lives of others. You won't. Okay, so if you're still with me, fantastic. Then we can actually get somewhere. 80-hour work week, working for somebody else, because you can't start your own business if you're still healing from the past, okay? Because you're still stuck in your head and unable to provide service consistently for a long period of time for people who need your help. So you need to actually work for somebody else, and I recommend having 3 bosses. And for you, oh my gosh, like, I need freedom. I need time. I don't have capacity to work for other people. Well, begin to apply that, okay? Get one job first. That's the hardest thing to do if you're dealing with healing and all that stuff, because you're just depressed and at home and watching YouTube, maybe. Get one job. It's your only job right now is to get one job. Then get a second one, then get a third one. Okay. What is that going to do? It's going to put you in a situation where you're beginning to increase capacity while also trying to increase your attitude, your good attitude. You need to improve that, because if you don't do that, you're going to eventually quit and return back to your vomit, basically. So progressively improve your capacity and basically stick around. And that leads me to number 2. You need a community of people that are going in the same direction as you. And what is the same direction? Joy, bliss, and happiness. If you know people who understand certain principles about what it takes to create joy, bliss, and happiness in their lives, and I promise you it's not going to be in the healing community that you might have been part of in the past, you need to become part of a success community that actually desire abundance in every single category of their lives. You want it too, but you just simply are not willing to accept the principles that are needed for you to apply to actually achieve that success. Part of that community needs to have mentors who are further along on their success or happiness journey than you. And you need to learn how to actually take guidance from these mentors and actually listen to what they're saying and move forward from there. Most people who are struggling with those past issues have problems with authority. Let's put it simply. And you might be one of them. And if you are, the first phase of leadership is allow yourself to be led. If you never allow yourself to be led, you're going to remain in that same situation that you're in, or it's going to get exponentially worse because you're getting older and the women that you might have wanted to attract are also not getting better and they also have trauma and issues from the past, etc. You don't want to remain there, okay? It's time for us to get you out of the ditch and begin to now exponentially create the life that you desire. Okay, and this is what Men of High Value is here for. We're using a very practical, hands-on approach to actually get you the results that you're really seeking instead of all the confusing buzzwords and whatever people are saying out there these days. Divine masculinity, divine femininity, whatever. I'm just saying masculinity and femininity. Should you have both? We can make a video about that another time. But 95% should be masculinity and 5% femininity. Some people say it should be 50-50. Some people say it should be 80-20. I'm like, bro, we've got an issue in this world, and that's too many and too much feminine men. That's the biggest problem the world has, to be honest. And we need to rectify that and solve that, and it starts with you. It starts with me, right? It starts with us. Let's help each other to move towards masculinity. And the definition is the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors so that it can provide the optimal life satisfaction for everyone around you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.